You know, ever since I did part 1 of this video a few days ago, I've kind of had this menu music stuck in my head. Day and night, work and home, doesn't matter. I just hear this over and over again. It's slowly driving me insane, but in the happiest, most pleasant, chipper way possible. And I really don't know how to process it. Listening to this all over again, really not helping. And I can't stop. I just can't, must, progress to... Oh, God, the cycle's broken. Oh, hey guys, how's it going? My name's Parallax Abstraction, and welcome to a special supplementary episode of Retro Flashback, showcasing gaming's roots for a new generation. So, we did a video on blind play, actually, a little experimental thing I was trying, on Vib-Ribbon a few days ago. And at the time, I only did the musical content that came with the game because I said that I was a little nervous about doing the whole use your own CD thing because I was scared I was going to get a content ID on my channel for using someone else's music and yada yada yada. Well, I decided screw that, we're going to throw caution to the wind here because I've since discovered that playing with your own CD is kind of the way this game is meant to be played, and there are additional play modes and other things like that that are not in the base game, and it would be kind of doing it a disservice to not talk about that. So we're going to do that. And I've got a CD here that hopefully is old enough that it won't get me struck, and also is not only one of my favorite CDs from the 90s, but has a good mix of fast and slow beat music that I think might be interesting for this. So our subject for this video is going to be the soundtrack, original motion picture soundtrack to the film Hackers. Yes, indeed, one of my biggest guilty pleasures from the 1990s. Kind of a terrible movie, but great in the dumbest kind of way. And actually, this movie has 2 soundtracks, and the first one in particular is absolutely fantastic. It's got a great mix of weird and obscure, like, rock and electronic stuff. The soundtrack was the best part of the movie. So that's what we're gonna do. And we're going to play a couple of different tracks here. So as you can see here, when you use your own CD, you got a few options. You got single track, all tracks, which literally just plays the disc from front to back to see how long you can go on for. Speed, which is kind of the special mode unique to using your own CD that we're gonna try out and see what happens with here. And then there's also auto, which is kind of like a neat visualizer thing. Basically, it just plays your CD and auto plays the levels that it generates for you. It's kind of a neat thing to have on in the background at a party or something like that. It's like a different take on the whole music visualization thing. So I think that's gonna be kind of fun to try out. Sorry if you hear some background there. My printer just decided to fire up. I'm not sure why. But, yeah, so anyway, let's get in here and try out single track. So we're going to start with something a little bit slower here. So let's just put this in here. And we'll do that. So one of the cool things about Vib-Ribbon is that the majority of the game actually loads into the memory of the PS1 once the game is loaded up, which it's able to do because of its sort of lower graphical fidelity and stuff. So you can actually put in your own disc and not have to worry about screwing the game up, which I thought was kind of cool. So it asks for the tracks here. We're going to start with something a little slower because one thing I did discover when researching this is that faster tracks equal much, much harder levels. So we're going to start with the song Richest Junkie Still Alive, the Senk remix by Machines of Loving Grace. This is kind of a weird electronic mixed with hard, crunchy rock song that starts off much easier. So what's neat about this is it just reads the track in and generates the level from it. Here we go. And as you can see, even when you're playing a slower song like this, it's not nearly as easy as there's no difficulty settings, so it's actually can be quite a bit more challenging than the stock levels because, as you can see, on the higher difficulties you may get simpler shapes, but they don't come at you at the same speed. So maintaining an accurate rhythm can be quite a challenge, actually. But as you can see, the shapes in this are not terribly complicated. As you're going to see when we put on a higher beat song, some of the songs for higher beat, or the levels for higher beat songs can just get absolutely bonkers. A lot of the higher end shapes and very rapid progression of them. I kind of get stomped when I try that out. So, really hope I don't get content struck for this music. Most of the bands on this soundtrack either don't exist anymore or were always kind of obscure, so I'm hoping they'll prefer the free promotion more than anything else. But we'll see what happens. So you're kind of getting the idea here. You're basically just playing a level generated. Now, the levels don't run on any kind of random hash or anything like that, so you will get the same levels for the same tracks. Sorry, guys. I'm still having trouble remembering some of the weirder custom shapes, which we are going to show you something about that, by the way. There we go. I'm screwing this up, but there we go. So you get your little reprieves here in some of the bridges of the tracks. There we go. So, yeah, as it turns out, you remember I said it the last time that I hope there's a manual or something with this that can show you the combinations you need for some of the more complicated shapes. In fact, that's very true. I'm going to show you that after the track here, but you can, there is a sort of e-version of the manual that you can look at. Very good quality, too. Which I appreciate, that does explain all of the additional shapes to you. So yeah, the one bummer with this, though I could understand why it would make things more complicated for the game, is that there's only one difficulty. So as I said, the levels are generated from the tracks and you can only do it the one way. So the way you can kind of artificially manage your difficulty is by using slower tracks. As I said, as you're going to see later, using a slower track is much, much, much easier. And that's ultimately what you're going to want to do. So if you want to make the game a little simpler for yourself, then you probably want to play a disc of either ballads or ambient or stuff that doesn't have either a lot of beats or at least not a lot of fast beats. I'm having trouble with those gaps there. I'm not sure why. I agree, Vib-Ribbon. So you get the idea there anyway. So really, you have to be kind of careful what music you feed into it. If you're a metalhead or a techno person or whatever, and that's kind of exclusively what you want to listen to, this game is going to kick your ass. You would probably want to play a lot of lower end stuff to make that, lower beat stuff to make that easier. So, but you get the idea of that. But I'm going to show you how this varies before we go on to another mode. So let's put in something a little upper beat. So you see, you can change the disc or keep the current one. So we're going to go with track 10. This is Connected by the Stereo MCs, which is actually a track I really, really like from the movie. And you're going to see where this goes. Okay, you know what? Actually, I meant to do this. Let's pause quick. I meant to do this. So, if you're playing on the PS3 or any of these other things, if you just hit your PlayStation button, you see right here, you got your software manual. And it's actually a really nice, good quality scan of the manual, so I can really appreciate that. And if you scroll far to the end here, so here's a description of the speed games that I'm going to show you guys afterwards. So if you scroll basically to the second last page, so here's everything. So as you can see, there's quite a number of different shapes, and memorizing all of these things as they're coming at you fast can actually be really tough. So you've got to really sort of build up a muscle memory thing, which I really like. This game is definitely much more challenging than a lot of the, say, harmonics games like Rock Band or Guitar Hero or even Frequency and Amplitude. The way in which this throws it at you requires that you use certain parts of your brain, which I think is pretty cool. So we're actually going to restart. The one bummer about custom CD mode is you can't pause. I guess because maybe it screws up the analysis of the disc or whatever. You can't pause. If you pause, you basically abort the level, which is kind of a bummer. Which is in particular a bummer if you're trying to check the manual for moves, because if you press the PlayStation button to bring up the manual, it doesn't pause the game. So you're gonna get kind of boned if you need to do that. So you really have to memorize this stuff or really write things down. But as you can see, higher beat track gets kind of ridiculous, really fast. I haven't even come close to finishing a higher beat song on custom music mode. What I actually think would be really interesting, and maybe I'll do this on my Extra Life stream this year, is there's a couple of tracks on this disc, in particular Orbital's Halcyon and On, which is a super extended mix of that song, of their song Halcyon. It actually starts off super, super slow, almost beatless for several minutes, and then it ramps up into a much beatier version of the song that it does pretty much until the end. And the song, I think, is like 9 or 11 minutes long. And it gives it would be very interesting to see the level that the game would generate from that, because it's such a mix of different things. So as you can see here, I can't remember what that spiky one is. So as you see here, things get pretty friggin' crazy. But you want to challenge yourself. Oh no. Oh, you kid, are you? So as you can see, things can get pretty ridiculous pretty fast here. And I think it's very cool. You can also do something like... Oops, actually I didn't mean to do the same track. Like if you want to get totally berserk, you could do something like this. This is Voodoo People by Prodigy, which is crazy fast beating. Oh god, and I don't remember those symbols either. So, there it is. So you see again, complicated shapes pretty much exclusively, and they don't stop. Stuff doesn't stop coming at you. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm actually doing better at this than I thought I would. Oh god, now I really want to watch Hackers. Maybe I'll watch that tonight. It used to, I don't know if it still is, but it used to be on Netflix, and I do still own the DVD. So anyway, you're getting the idea here. Stuff, I really like the fact, though, that the levels actually alter greatly depending on your choice of music, and you can really mix things up in some pretty crazy ways, which I think is pretty awesome. And the extra challenge of this level, of course, is that here we go. You can just see that it requires so many correct notes in order to evolve, which really means heal Vib-Ribbon, that you really have to get real good at this stuff really fast if you want to succeed. And I think this is pretty awesome. I really am kind of stunned I got this far. I didn't think I would, so let's see how far I can get. We got this, Vib-Ribbon. We're not even halfway through the track yet. Cocky much? Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, here it goes. Now I start to lose the plot. Because this is what happens. I start talking about how I'm doing really well, and this is what happens to me. I'm starting to remember the more complicated shapes, though, from muscle memory, which is good. I definitely need more practice, but I'm getting better. Alright. Can we do it? Seriously, Prodigy, I'm telling people to go buy your stuff. Don't content strike me. Oh boy. So, as you can see, this stuff can get pretty neat, but I like this a lot. I think this is... I can definitely see why people say this is the way to play the game. For sure. Alright, and there we go. Alright. So that's the idea of that one. All tracks, we don't really need to show that. That's literally play the whole disc as far as you can get. And then, so speed mode is where things get interesting. So this is where you actually do have difficulties. And basically the idea of this, as you're going to see, is, we're going to go back to Richest Junkie Still Alive here. The idea is to sort of freestyle. So you see up there it says target speed. So the way you increase your meter is by doing crazy random tricks like this. Almost like if you were in a Tony Hawk game or something. You're supposed to do as many crazy tricks as you can in between notes while still hitting them. So what you want to do is sort of freak out like this and not screw up, because basically what happens is the way you increase your meter is by getting these freestyling tricks right and then actually hitting the note correctly. So if you miss the note, you don't get anything. So it kind of encourages, it's kind of a risk-reward thing. It kind of encourages you to sort of be greedy and try to max out everything you can. And then you gotta sort of center yourself and land your note. And your goal is to basically get to your speed target as fast as possible. So while in every other mode your goal is to actually complete the track, here you want to try to get through it as fast as you can. So you're encouraged to probably play a track you're familiar with, and the level layout it's going to be that you're going to be familiar with. Let's see if I can actually do it here. See, this is the problem, is when you have to sort of freestyle your way through like this, it kind of can mess up your timing. Here. Let's try this, see if we can get through it. But basically what will happen when you complete this is you'll get a sort of a metric at the end that will just say this is how long it took you to complete the level, and your goal is to beat that. So straightforward sort of methodology that you're scored on. Sorry, I am kind of just trying to concentrate here. There we go. So we hit it. 142 seconds. So there's your idea. And basically you up the difficulties, which gives you higher speed targets, which makes things more and more challenging, obviously, as you get through. But I think that mode's kind of cool, because it is sort of the more traditional arcade style of greed gameplay. It's do as much as you can, try to maximize your run, but you got to be careful because you push it too hard and you lose everything, which I like that a lot. I think that's pretty neat. And then, of course, auto mode is literally just... It would be nice if you could actually select a track for this mode rather than just start at the beginning of the disc. So this is Original Bedroom Rockers by Kruder and Dorfmeister, which is the first track on the disc. But as you see, all it's doing is it's playing the level for you. But this is kind of neat to watch, because it not only helps you by sort of pre-showing you what your tracks could look like so that you can sort of observe and learn the patterns that way. It's also just kind of neat to watch the computer, play a level to perfection. And unfortunately, of course, you have to use CDs with this game. This is the re-release of this game on PlayStation Network is literally the unaltered original, so you can't feed it MP3s or point it at a media server or plug in your phone or anything like that. But this would be a really neat thing to have at a party or something, is just put a disc in as you're playing music for it and have this running on the TV and just sort of have it do its thing in the background while you're doing, while your stuff is going on. The bummer of this, of course, as well, is that because this does require the original disc, just because this does require a CD, because it is the original game, the PSP and Vita versions of this obviously don't have the ability to do that. There are no musical UMDs for the PlayStation Portable, and the Vita has no optical drive whatsoever. So even if you buy this game for those platforms as well, then when you fire it up on there, you'll actually see a use my own CD mode, but it will just get stuck at please insert a CD, which is too bad. I mean, I can imagine, but at this point it would be basically impossible to go back and rewrite this game to add in support for MP3s or something like that, but it would have been neat to see that ability, but what are you going to do? But that's it with that. It's just automatic, and you can back out of that. And it's neat. And but yeah, I can certainly see why people say this is the way to play this game, because honestly, it's really the... Let's just end on another one here. This is another good kind of crazy rock dance mix song. This is Good Grief by the Urban Dance Squad. Let's see how far we can get into this. But I can certainly see why the people say this is the way to play the game, because basically it's endless. You know, if you have a large collection of music available... Oh my god, the level is... Why would you do that? Oh, jeez. This is even more insane. What? I don't even... Okay, well, this isn't going to get very far. Oh my... How would you even... This is like speedrunner grade. Yeah, no. Yeah, we need way more than that, I think. But, so as you can see, this thing can just get insane. And if you've got a large music collection, I mean, you can go pretty nuts with this and do kind of whatever you want. So that's kind of what made this game really worth its asking price back in the day, because just for the built-in stuff, full retail price would be kind of insane, an insane ripoff. But with this, it really changes everything, and it makes it really, really extendable, and I think that's really cool. So that's why I wanted to show this off, because this is really the important aspect of this. So yeah, that is the my own CD mode of Vib-Ribbon. So if you want to see the other part of it, go back and check out part 1 of this video, and we'll do that. But I really like this. I think this is a really, really fantastic game. I see why it's got such a cult following. And yeah, if you've got a PS3 or even a Vita or a PSP, I highly recommend picking it up. It's like $5, and well worth it for that, I think. And a real hidden, unique gem, even among PS1 standards, which had some pretty crazy stuff in it. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. It does help me out a great deal. And, well, might as well end back with our nice, insane, causing title track. Because, you know, why not, right? Might as well go out the good, insane way. There we go. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.